Welcome back to the Odyssey. I am Mike Odyssey, and yes, today, guys, we have some good news in the world of Nintendo that I would love to share with you. Today is download day in the world of Nintendo, so they have released a lot of good information that I would love to share today with you, along with some updates in the world of Nintendo Switch 2 news. So we have some specs that were actually more believable than the ones prior, I guess, leaked? Is that the word, or rumored? But today we'll go over those today, and I want you guys to give me your opinion down below, and then we'll go ahead and discuss it. Before we dive too deep into the video, I would love for you to subscribe to our channel and join one of the best communities out here. We have an amazing, uplifting, and positive community that basically focuses on each other and in gaming, right? So if you would love to join us, consider subscribing and clicking that bell for notifications. I promise you will not regret it, and you'll have the best time of your life here within our community. Let's get into the video. All right, the first up in the news, we have a prominent leaker mentioned that there is something related to Game Boy Advance coming very soon. So what it really said was GBA this time. There's no real thing behind it. He just gives you this little hints there and here. And so basically the community has kind of translated that into that we're getting some Game Boy Advance games today. And so My Nintendo News is reporting, prominent leaker says to expect Nintendo Switch Online Game Boy Advance news today. And so far, nothing has been out there, and we'll wait and see if there are any updates on whether what games are being announced for Nintendo Switch Online. And in the Game Boy Advance area, I will go ahead and update this video in the pinned comment below. So if there is a pinned comment below letting you know that yes, there is an update on NSO, then there's been an update. If not, then there has been nothing yet. So far, we'll find out whether this comes to pass, but we'll expect something from Game Boy Advance. If not, in the Nintendo Direct happening in February. All right, let's move on to Nintendo Download. Do you know what Nintendo Download means? That Nintendo has issued a lot of good information regarding Nintendo Switch and games that are coming that I think you will love to hear about. And so let's go ahead and start here. Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia is out on January 18th. So let me know if you guys are very excited for Prince of Persia. I know a lot of the community out there were you guys were looking forward to that new Princess Persia 3D game that's being developed, but then they kind of gave us the Princess Persia The Lost Crown, which is a 2D side-scrolling game, which, by the way, looks fantastic. And so we are here now. It's January, and on the 18th, we should be expecting a Prince of Persia game coming to Nintendo Switch. Now, let's move on to today's next story. And well, today Nintendo issued Nintendo Download. Nintendo Download is basically their way of issuing news, right, on their behalf, where they give you a lot of good information that is happening within the world of Nintendo, like game releases, activities, and so on. And so today we have two activities that Nintendo issued. One of them is the Ring. It says Ring in the New Year, Warrior style, with these fun and stylish magnets. Get moving in the new year with WarioWare Move It magnets from My Nintendo. Stick these fun and stylish magnets everywhere. You need some motivation to move it. This brightly colored 8x8 magnet sheet features Wario, Ashley, Red, 9V, Orbulon, and Mona. My Nintendo members can redeem 500 points for this reward. For more information, visit my.nintendo.news. Another one is My Nintendo Game Truck Party Sweepstakes. Enter My Nintendo Game Truck Party Sweepstakes for a chance to win a 2-hour party for up to 15 guests. The My Nintendo members can redeem 10 platinum points to enter at my.nintendo.com with up to 3 entries total. You have until February 7th at 11:59 p.m. to enter. So don't delay. For more information, of course, visit My Nintendo Rewards. And that's the activities. We get these little magnets you can redeem. If you have your platinum points, you only need 500 platinum points. And of course, they have that Game Truck Party Sweepstakes where you can win your own party with 15 guests, which sounds really, really cool, right? They're all on the Nintendo.com website. You can learn more there. All right, let's move on to today's main story, and it has to do with Nintendo Switch 2 and the new specs that have just popped up out of nowhere, like every other spec leak that been out there right now. Okay, so here we have a brand new list of specs regarding the Nintendo Switch 2 that I personally feel that are more believable than the ones that leaked or appeared yesterday on main media, right? Like that, it just came up and a lot of people covered it. So I think this is more keen to what we are gonna get for the Switch 2 when it comes to its internal specs, right? And so let's go ahead and go over it real quick. Here we have the SoC, the NVIDIA Tegra 239. That has not changed because that has been basically what we have been talking about since the get-go when it leaked back then. And so it remains to be the Tegra 239. We have a lithograph, TSMC 4N. A lot of this information, I'm going to go kind of skip just because it has too many, tech garble, and I will just go over the more simple stuff. Like for example, the CPU will have 8 cores, which is very good, right? We'll have a lot of good memory there, a lot of good brain memory there. The GPU is more derived from the NVIDIA RTX 3000 series, which is a very good graphics card. We have dock performance at 3.5 to 4.5 teraflops, okay? And portable performance at 1.7 to 2 teraflops, so which is really good, all right? So we know that if we look at this, the performance in dock mode will be a lot better than it is in handheld mode. Now I'm guessing just because the extra power that we get by docking it's on, like, it's not on battery power, it's more like on dock power plug into your wall, and so it actually kind of uses more of the hardware that way rather than I think it falls into more like a power saving mode when you're using on handheld, and so it actually reduces the performance just a bit when you're actually on handheld, so they can reduce your battery life, right? We have 12 to 16 gigabytes of RAM memory. This makes more sense to me because yesterday, if you're watching this video today when it comes out, we went over that other leak that said it would have 8 gigabytes of RAM, and I think 8 gigabytes is way too low for the potential games that this console will have. And so 12 to 16 gigabytes of RAM is more believable, okay? It'll make games run a lot better, and it'll allow you to render many things at the same time, right? All right, so when it comes to the dock performance, we have here in portable, we have 102 gigabytes per second portable performance, likely reduction to 88 gigabytes per second. It's the same exact thing we spoke about earlier, where in handheld mode, it'll go down to like a power saving mode where it will use less power, less graphical, less CPU in order for it to give you a better battery life. And so because it's a smaller screen, it doesn't have to work as hard to kind of produce a good image. It'll produce a good enough image for the size of the screen. Moving forward here, let's go ahead and skip the cache and display 8 inches 1080p LCD at 60 hertz. All right, this, believe it or not, even though the 120 hertz that we heard in the previous video sounds great, I think that the display at 8 inches at 1080p LCD at 60 hertz sounds a little bit more believable, right? It sounds a bit more believable. So we have a display size for the screen of 8 inches instead of the 7 inches for the Switch at 1080p with 60 hertz, okay? Now, the internal storage, remember how the internal storage, it said 65 or 62 gigabytes of RAM, and we were like laughing at it because it was so low? Well, this one says that the internal will come in 2 variations, 256 gigabytes, 256 gigabytes, and one of 512 gigabytes, which I believe is more believable than the 62 gigabytes of RAM that the other one said. So there's 2 variations, 256 gigabytes, and one at 512 gigabytes. So I'm guessing the 512 will probably be the digital version, because that one would actually need more storage. So that's the storage there. That is basically more believable. When it comes to the cartridge, right? The cartridge, remember how we spoke about the cartridge being a little bigger, right? A little bigger, and another technology or a more advanced technology when it comes to the storage of the cartridge that holds the game. Well, here we have the cartridge. It says unknown, but we know that it's a 3D NAND. It used to be 2D NAND. Now it's a 3D NAND with that says that an option for significant increase in space in order to reduce costs in relation to existing cartridges. So a 3D NAND is a better cartridge. It has more space in order to hold bigger games, right, than the one we currently have. Expandable storage is unknown, and battery is unknown. So what I like about this spec sheet here is that it's giving you more realistic information, and some information that is here, if they don't have it, they're not making it up. For example, the expanded storage, although we all feel Nintendo will have expanded storage, which just like the Switch, this is not confirmed just yet, so they're not adding it to the spec sheet here, along with the battery life, right? Nobody has actually spoken about the battery that the Switch will have, and so here it says unknown, and they don't have it just yet, and nobody has it just yet until Nintendo announces. So let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. The biggest takeaways here is the internal storage at 256 gigabytes and 512 gigabytes of storage for the Nintendo Switch. We have the 8-inch LCD screen that will produce an image of 1080p at 60 hertz per second, not like that 120 we saw before, although that will be awesome. This is more believable. And so everything else here, like for example, if you dock the Nintendo Switch, it'll give you a 3.5 to 4.5 teraflops of performance against the portable performance of 1.7 to 2 teraflops when you play on handheld mode. Let me know what you guys think about these leaks, this spec sheet, which I'm actually happy with. I'm actually really happy with this spec sheet, and I hope that this is the Nintendo Switch, because if it is, it'll be a beast of a console in handheld mode and in dock mode. That's one thing that people forget. Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2, they're dual consoles. They're a handheld and they're dockable consoles, right? The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox and the PS4, PS4 Pro, whatever, they're all home consoles. They're not mobile consoles. And for Nintendo to do something this great with a mobile console is just phenomenal. So let me know what you guys think down below. That is all the information we have for you today. Before I let you go, never give up and journey on. Peace.